Say you do borrow against your XRP holdings, what would be a good route to maintain what you borrowed per month aside from, say, work income? Most of the time when you leverage an asset, you're going to take that value and put it to work somewhere else to be able to generate more than whatever you're using to service the debt. So as an example, you buy a rental property, okay, and you rent that property out, right? But you might have a note on it. You put a down payment on it. Let's say, we're just going to go easy math here. These are not accurate numbers, but I'm just going to give you an example. You bought a $100,000 property, which you can't find one nowadays, but let's just play the game with me, okay? It's on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at, call it 4%, which also isn't the interest rate anymore. With taxes and insurance, you're going to be $1,000 a month, maybe a little less than that, maybe $800 a month. You rent it out for $1,200 a month, right? So you're using that asset to be able to generate more income, to be able to service the debt, and then still have a padding or margin on top of that. You would do the same thing with your XRP or your other digital assets. Ideally, whatever you're lending against them at, you would also be able to put them to work in some capacity to be able to generate enough income off of those to service that debt, pay that note off over time, and have some extra for yourself. That would be the way that I do it. Or you would take that money that you borrowed and put it into something that generates more than enough to be able to service the debt. So you buy a company, you buy a car wash, you buy an asset that generates enough cash flow or ROI to be able to, so let's say, borrowed $100,000. Your monthly payment's at $1,000 a month because it's 12% interest over the year. Just, again, not perfect, but play the game with me. And then you take that $100,000 and you go put it in something that generates 20% a year. Maybe you put it in a private credit fund that pays 15%, okay? You're going to get a monthly distribution or quarterly distribution out of that credit fund. You're going to take whatever you need to service the debt, and then you keep the spread. So you're going to make an extra 3% because you borrowed at 12 and you're making 15, right? That's the way that I see a lot of people are going to be able to, borrow against it, service the debt, and have some extra income. If you do it against a life insurance policy, then you don't have to ever have to pay it back.